Yeah, morning. There's not much to choose from, to be honest. I think the two that would probably stand out, one is capital expenditure. So this government has spent a lot more on infrastructure over the last couple of years. The benefits of that will probably only begin to show over the next decade or so. I think the other one that I'm a bit more skeptical about is social welfare spending. Obviously, coming in 2015, they put a marker down that they planned on doing programs like the cash transfer program and the school feeding scheme, and we've seen those kick off all around the country. The problem is that it's been a bit difficult to evaluate the effect that those programs have been having, but at least the idea was a positive one.
All right, then. Now, on the flip side, now let's look at what you think was the most negative thing that happened in the last 4 years.
Well, I think now we have a lot more to choose from. I think it's only fair to look at unemployment. A lot of the economic indicators, right, they don't necessarily speak to the welfare of the people. I think unemployment, and seeing how it rose from about 8-9% at the end of, or in 2015 yeah, to over 20% this, or at the end of last year, sort of shows the stark change. I think one of my least favorite statistics about the country in the last 4 years is that in 2015 there were about 5 million youths without jobs. By 2018, that number had risen to 13 million, right? So that just shows that regardless of what we talk about with the economy, MPC, FX, the impact on the people has been quite startling, and that's what we need to now try and recover from over the next 4 years.
Yeah, because when you look at that, we've seen the UN population fund come up with latest stats on the population of Nigeria, about 201 million people in there. Staggering numbers when you look at how much we're growing every year. And then when you look at the economic growth, we've just only managed the 1.9% last year. I'd like you to speak on the economy, this time around, and then look at what our projections for growth, and with the release of the first quarter numbers that you've seen so far, how you think things can pan out going into the year, and can we meet that 3% target?
Yeah, I'll start from the easiest one, which is a 3% target. I don't think we're going to meet that. I think the IMF forecast is somewhere around 2.4%, if I remember correctly. Looking at how Q1 numbers came in, I wouldn't say that the economy is looking substantially better than last year. I think agriculture, for one, is looking better. It's looking like it's coming out of the down year it had last year. But I'm looking at manufacturing and services, right, the real heartbeat of the economy. And again, progress has been slow in that area. I think manufacturing growth was flat, and services was propped by the telecom sector, right? So I look at the economy broadly, and there are not many silver linings to hold on to be honest.
All right then, but when you look at our borrowings, how the government has been, hitting the debt market, you see how much we've been, as at the last count, I think we're about 24.3 trillion as at December 2019. We're waiting to see what the latest numbers from the DMO will be. But when you look at how much we've gone, to borrow, to fund the budget and all other things the government is trying to do, how would you rate this compared to how things have been in the past 4 years?
Yeah, I think we've embarked on a possibly quite reckless borrowing spree. The reality is that our revenues from 2015 to 2019 are roughly the same, right? And we've taken on 3 times as much debt almost, partly because of the currency fall, but also because we've been very aggressive in the Eurobond market. And I look at our debt servicing in particular, and revenues are not growing to keep up with that, right? Something that we've been speaking about for the last 18 months at the very least, and it looks like the current government is going to persist on that front, and we're just hopeful that we don't have another sort of debt overhang situation.
All right, well, let's look at FDI, though. When you look at how much we've attracted into the country going forward, now we are seeing that even in West Africa, we're not the best when it comes to attracting FDI.
Yeah, so FDI, I think, since the oil price crash has just been low. If I remember correctly, NBS figures for the early part of the 2010s was generally about $2 to $3 billion coming in a year. Over the last couple of years, we've barely scratched $1 billion, right? And the reality is that oil was the lifeblood of the economy, and since the crash there and the revelation that the fundamentals of our structure wasn't solid, a lot of foreign investors have been reticent, right? And they prefer to play in the capital market space where you can basically come in for 6 months and take out your profits. Those that are willing to bet long term on this economy must have really positive views on how the future is going to be, and I don't think there are many people around, both inside and outside the country.
All right, then let's look at ease of doing business, and look at how that has played out. Because the government will tell you that that's one of the major areas, because we saw that we're one of the top 10 reformers, I think, in 2017. But would you say it has been really tangible, or are we just grabbing on the low-hanging fruits?
Yeah, it hasn't been tangible. The ease of doing business journey is one of my favorite stories over the last 3 years, because in 2017, like you pointed out, we focused a lot on ticking the boxes that the World Bank set. So, for example, on the getting credit score, we passed a couple of laws that set up a national credit bureau and the collateral registry. Right? Now, those laws were passed, and because of those laws, the World Bank came in and said, "Oh, you've made a lot of progress on the getting credit area, so we're going to rank you the 3rd in the world." But then you look at the credit space, and people still struggle to get loans. So a lot of the progress was on paper, and we saw it in 2018 when there was no concerted effort to follow the guidelines of the World Bank, and because of that, we actually fell a place, probably reflecting the stasis in the business environment.
All right, then we'll keep having these conversations, building up to the inauguration. But thank you so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts on this.